Hello everyone, and welcome to this World of Warcraft guide for obtaining the Sinrunner Blanchy mount. This mount is a great new addition to the game with the Shadowlands expansion, and anyone can obtain it, regardless of skill level, with no raids, dungeons, reputation, nor extensive farming required. And once you obtain it on a single character, all of the characters in your account will have access to it. So make sure to get this mount now while it's popular, since others looking to get it will help you out too. To get the mount, you'll turn in various quest-specific items to an NPC on 6 different days. The items are extremely easy to obtain, and the days don't have to be consecutive, so if you miss a day or a few, you can just pick up later where you left off. After the 6th turn-in, you'll automatically be given the range directly to your inventory. It's as straightforward as it sounds. The only real challenge is finding the dead Blanchy NPC for your item turn-ins, because she only spawns once every couple of hours or so, only lasts for 5 minutes each time, and you'll need to find her 6 separate times. Though the quest NPC and most items you'll need are found in the Revendreth zone, you do not need to be a member of the Venthyr Covenant to obtain or use the mount. You will need to be near max level to pick up some of the necessary parts, so it's recommended to wait until you're level 60 before going for the mount. In this guide, I'll detail out every step on where and how to collect all the quest items up front, and then how to find the turn-in NPC to hand the items in to get the mount. You can collect all the needed items in advance, so it's recommended to do this first, and it won't take much effort. Just complete the following sequence of steps for the most efficient use of your time. For the first step, we'll head to the Westfall zone, located on the Eastern Kingdom continent, to collect 8 handfuls of oats. To get there, if you are a member of the Alliance faction, then just head to the main city of Stormwind. From there, travel southwest to reach Westfall. If you are a member of the Horde faction, then head to the main city of Orgrimmar. Inside the city, take the Zeppelin to the Gromgol base camp, which takes you to the northern Stranglethorn zone. From there, travel northwest to reach Westfall. Keep in mind that Westfall is an Alliance-based area, so keep clear of any towns. Once in Westfall, head to the farms in the northern part of the zone. The oats can be found in multiple spawn locations in this area. They are really easy to find once you know where to look. These are the spawn locations I came across after looking around the area for a few minutes. Each spawn location contains 1 to 3 items. You can even loot from the same location multiple times, once the oats have respawned. And the respawn rate is relatively high. However, in my experience, there were plenty of oats available if you follow this path a time or two around the farms. If you're a member of the Horde, be particularly careful near the entrance to the building at Seldian's farm, next to spawn location number 2. There is a guard there, albeit low level, that will flag you for player versus player combat if you get too close. The oats can also be attained on the auction house, so if you are willing to spend the gold on them, you don't even need to bother taking the time to travel to Westfall and collect them. While you can take a peek on the auction house to see if you can find some for a reasonable price, it's unlikely there will be an excess supply of these, and it's probably worth making the trip anyway to avoid spending a lot of gold. Note that you'll need to be near max level to pick up the oats, so it's recommended to be level 60 before traveling to Westfall. Once you've collected 8 handfuls of oats, the remaining items are based in the Revendreth zone in the Shadowlands, so head to Oribos from your faction's capital city. When there, take the flight path to Darkhaven in Revendreth. In Darkhaven, east of the flight path drop-off, find the NPC named Snickersnee. Interact with him and select the dialogue option, and he will give you a grooming brush for free. Then, while still in Darkhaven, just look to the left of Snickersnee and loot the empty water bucket. You'll need to fill this up with water in a later step. Next, you'll collect 4 sturdy horseshoes. These items are found on the roads surrounding Darkhaven. There are several spawn locations that I came across after searching for several minutes. The items in the open world are quite small, but they have a large sparkling effect, so they're pretty hard to miss. They also have a relatively quick respawn rate, and you can loot from the same spawn location multiple times. As you're traveling around the roads, don't follow any paths into areas with enemy groups. Nearly every horseshoe can be found without aggroing any enemies. After you've collected your horseshoes, get back to Darkhaven and take the flight path to the Charred Ramparts in Revendreth to the west. Once you land, head north up the ramp to the Hole in the Wall area and speak with the NPC named Mims. Purchase a stack of Dredhollow apples from Mims for a small sum of gold. You'll only need 3 to give to the dead Blanchy NPC, but the smallest stack size you can buy contains 5. Next, from the Charred Ramparts, take the flight path to Wanecrypt Hill in Revendreth to the southeast. Once you land, head south to the Night Market area. In the area just to the east before crossing the bridge, speak with the NPC named Tatru and look for the comfortable saddle blanket. The purchase price for the blanket changes every week, rotating between different items, mostly Shadowlands materials like meats, ores, and herbs. Check the cost, and if you happen to have the items on you, go ahead and purchase the blanket. Otherwise, make a note of the price. Be sure to jot down what the material is and what number of it you'll need. Now is a good time to use your Hearthstone. Head to the auction house in one of the capital cities and check the price on the items you just saw that are required to buy the comfortable saddle blanket. The total gold value can vary drastically depending on what the item is, so if the item you need is out of your price range, consider waiting until the following week for it to change to hopefully something cheaper. You won't need the blanket until the day 5 turn-in, so waiting until after the following Tuesday's weekly reset may not delay when you can get the mount anyway. Especially when you consider you may not turn in something to the dead Blanchy NPC every consecutive day, because you may not find a spawn every day. In my case, Tatru was asking for 30 phantasmal haunches, which was running for about 1300 gold on my server. So I waited until the following week and the new purchase price was 30 ethereal meat, which was running for only about 2 gold total. So waiting can literally pay off. And of course, if you have the capability of farming the items yourself and are interested in doing it, then you can skip this step and obtain the items later. After you're done with the auction house, head back to Oribos in the Shadowlands. Take the flight path to Tierna Vale in Ardenweald. You'll now fill up the empty water bucket you picked up in an earlier step. Once you land, jump in a nearby water pool and use the empty water bucket to fill it with water and convert it to a bucket of clean water. Next, if you bought the items needed to purchase the comfortable saddle blanket from the auction house, take the flight path to Wanecrypt Hill in Revendreth. Like earlier, once you land, head south to the Night Market area again, and buy the blanket from Tatru. If you followed all the steps of this guide up to this point, then you should have all the items you need for the mount, and you're ready to start handing them in. After collecting your items, it's now time to start the turn-in process. Take the flight path to Darkhaven in Revendreth. Once you land, follow the main road that leads north out of town. You'll enter the Enmire area. Just keep following the main path. Come to a stop just after passing a large crumbling structure on your left. There will be a large lift and an elevated bridge in the background. In front of you, on the left side of the path, you'll see a boulder with some glowing red growths next to it, and just a little further down the road will be a couple of trees. Pass between the boulder and trees and get into the small river to the west of the road. In the water, line yourself up facing downstream toward the northeast. Then follow the river for a few steps toward the large exposed roots. The NPC you're looking for is named Dead Blanchy, and she spawns at this location nestled in these roots. Unfortunately, she only spawns every hour or two, and when she does, she'll take off running south back toward Darkhaven. You'll need to get in front of her to make her stop, and she'll only stick around for about 5 minutes before despawning. So you really need to be ready and aware when you ride up to her location. Every time you get in her vicinity, you want to take this same angle approaching through the river. If you see her spawn, you'll need to get in front of her to make her stop. Just getting in her travel path will stop her. There's no need to interact with her on the move. If she passes you, Dead Blanchy is too fast to catch on ground, and she'll just keep running for a while until she despawns. You won't have another chance to get in front of her, unless you have Shadowlands flying unlocked and can use a flying mount to pass her up. Overall, this is the most challenging part about attaining this mount, just finding the Dead Blanchy NPC 6 different times so you can turn in your items. Luckily, you can leverage the Group Finder tool to drastically increase the odds of you coming across Dead Blanchy at any given time. You'll first want to ride out to Dead Blanchy's location. Remember, she only lasts for 5 minutes once she appears. Open up the Group Finder, go to Pre-Made Groups, click on the Custom category, then click Find a Group. Type in Blanchy into the search field and hit Enter. You'll mainly find 2 different types of groups associated with Blanchy. the Blanchy is Up groups, and the Waiting for Blanchy groups. You're looking for the Blanchy is Up groups, where someone has already found the dead Blanchy NPC and has been kind enough to post a group for others to join. Overall, it's generally best to periodically refresh the group finder tool looking for this type of group. This will give you more opportunities to find a spawn. The other type of group is a waiting group. The advantage of the waiting groups is that if one has been established for a long time, then the dead Blanchy spawn could be imminent, and you could join in for just the last few minutes of waiting, potentially reducing the amount of time you'd have to wait by yourself. You can join these if you'd like, but I generally prefer to stay solo, since joining a group like this will prevent you from being able to continue using the group finder tool to search for other groups. You might join one of these waiting groups and end up waiting a much longer period of time than you otherwise would have because you miss out on other groups being posted that have already found the dead Blanchy NPC. Keep in mind that a waiting group will likely be relisted to indicate that Blanchy has spawned, so you probably won't be missing out on anything. If you do decide to join a waiting group, try to prioritize one that has already been waiting for a while, like over 45 minutes, instead of one that just recently formed in the past 5 minutes. If you don't see dead Blanchy yourself right away and you don't see any groups to join with the group finder tool, then just position yourself in front of dead Blanchy's spawn location and hunker down for a bit of a wait. Every few minutes, hit the refresh button on the group finder tool and wait for a spawn. Remember that dead Blanchy will only last about 5 minutes, so don't venture too far away from the spawn location, since a group in the group finder tool may pop up at any moment. By the time someone posts the group and by the time you see it and join, you won't have a lot of time left to get your hand in completed. You want to be near the spawn point and ready. Regardless of how you plan to tackle it, since you need to find 6 different dead Blanchy spawns to turn in all of your items, it's inevitable that you'll need to wait for at least some amount of time, so just be mentally prepared for that. And hey, you can always work on your fishing. Once you find a dead Blanchy spawn, all you need to do is interact with her and click on the dialogue option to turn your items in for the day. It's advised to have all the items you need for all 6 days turn-ins in your inventory ready to go, so you won't have to worry about which items go with which days. The last thing you want is to wait for a spawn and then find out you didn't have the items in your inventory. Once you've turned in your items, you'll have to wait until the next day after the daily reset time for your server to be able to turn in again. You'll need to hand in your items on 6 different days, but the days don't have to be consecutive. If you miss a day or a few, you can just pick up where you left off. Once you've turned in all of your items, the reins will be granted directly to your inventory and the Sinrunner Blanchy mount will be yours. Don't delay in working toward this mount because as you can see, while a lot of other people are looking to obtain it, it will give you more opportunities to find the dead Blanchy spawns via the group finder tool. And remember to pay it forward where you can. If you see a dead Blanchy spawn in your server, take a few seconds to post a group and help others out as well. Good luck on getting this mount, and I look forward to seeing everyone's transmog sets to go along with it. If you enjoyed this guide and would like to see more content, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.